Attention, attention to all students of our grade school in grade 6, both boys and girls, offering mathematics in bilingual. Once again, good afternoon to you all. I'm your regular teacher, and my name is Teacher Jeremiah Ankra, and I believe you are all safe in your various homes. This afternoon, I want to introduce you to another lesson which is being initiated by the board chairman of our grade school, Mr. Yunus Arabi, in order to facilitate your learning process and to bring your studies right to you in your various homes. Once again, welcome to our electronic transmission model lesson. Our new lesson is angles and triangles. Our new lesson is angles and triangles. We'll first and foremost begin with properties of triangles. Types of triangles. Types of triangles. The first one is called equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle has 3 equal sides and also 3 equal angles. The middle one, or the second one, is called isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangle has 2 equal sides and 2 equal angles. The 2 equal angles represent the base. And the third angle is called scalene triangle. Scalene triangle. Scalene triangle has 3 unequal sides and 3 unequal angles. Any triangle containing a 90 degrees angle is a right-angled triangle. Any triangle containing a 90 degrees angle is a right-angled triangle. So, on this screen, the 2 diagrams that you see represent a right angle triangle that contain a 90 degrees angle. An isosceles or a scalene triangle may contain a right angle. An isosceles or a scalene triangle may contain a right angle. So the 3 diagrams below can either be an isosceles or a scalene triangle that can either contain or contain a right angle. So they sometimes can also be called right-angled isosceles triangles. They can also be called right-angled isosceles triangles. So the first 2 are called right-angled isosceles triangle, and then the last one can also be called right-angled scalene triangle. To determine the angle sum of any triangle. To determine the angle sum of any triangle. First and foremost, take 3 identical copies of this triangle and put them together. First and foremost, take 3 identical copies of this triangle and put them together. So we have the first one on the screen, as you can see, then followed by the second one that join or attach to the first triangle, and then we have the third one in the middle, and then we have the third one in the middle. So you can see that these 3 triangles have been put together, and by putting them together, this is what we have on the screen. How can we use this to help ourselves? Now, you could see that when these 3 triangles were put together, it gives us angles on a straight line. And angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. Angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. These are the same angles as in the triangle. These are the same angles as in the triangle. And therefore, the angle sum of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. And therefore, the angle sum of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. Types of triangles. The first one is called equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle has 3 equal sides and 3 equal angles. The second one is called isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangle has 2 equal sides. So on the screen you can see the 2 equal sides. And then 2 equal angles that represent the base. The 2 equal angles represent the base. And then the third one is called scalene triangle. Scalene triangle has 3 unequal sides and 3 unequal angles. And the fourth one is any triangle containing 90 degrees angle is a right angled triangle. So the fourth one is a right angled triangle that contains an angle of 90 degrees. Then the fifth one represents the angle sum of a triangle, and the angle sum of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. Now calculating on known angles, we've come to a point where we are being required how to learn how to calculate unknown angles. And first and foremost, we begin with example 1. On this screen, we can see a right angle triangle. And inside the right angle triangle, we have the angle A, which we don't know, followed by 65 degrees. And then we have the right angle triangle, which represents 90 degrees. And we are being tasked to calculate angle A. How do we calculate angle A? My fellow students, to calculate angle A is equals to 180 minus bracket begins 90 plus 65 degrees. To calculate angle A is equals to 180 minus bracket begins 90 plus 65 close. Now, if you add 90 plus 65, it will give us an answer of 155. And therefore, angle A is equals to 180 minus 155, which is equals to 25 degrees. The second example, we are being tasked or asked to calculate angles A, B, and C. To calculate angles A, B, and C. My fellow student, this is an equilateral triangle. This is showing an equilateral triangle. And therefore, angles A, B, and C are all equal. And because it is an equilateral triangle, the sum total is what? 180. And therefore, to calculate angle A, B, and C, we divide the 180 by 3. And to divide 180 by 3, it will give us an answer of 60 degrees. So A is 60 degrees, B is 60 degrees, C is also 60 degrees. The third example is calculate angle A. Calculate angle A. The third one, we are being asked to calculate angle A. Angle A is equal to 65 degrees. Why? Because angle A is the base angle of an isosceles triangle. And the base angle of an isosceles triangle are equal. Therefore, A is also equal to 65 degrees. Since we know A to be 65 degrees, we can go ahead and calculate B. How do we get B? To calculate the angle B is equal to 180 minus bracket begins 65 plus 65 bracket close. And 65 plus 65 will give us an answer of 130. Therefore, angle B is equal to 180 minus 130. And the answer is equal to 50 degrees. The fourth example, we are being asked to calculate angles X and Y. We are being asked to calculate angles X and Y. We could see that two sides are parallel. And therefore, to calculate angle X and Y is equals to 180 minus 130. Then we divide the answer by 2. To calculate angle X and Y, we subtract 130 from 180 degrees, and then when we get the answer, we divide the answer by 2. And therefore, 180 minus 130 is equals to 50. And therefore, 50 divided by 2 is equals to 25 degrees. Still on calculating unknown angles. Example 5. Calculate angles A and B. Calculate angles A and B. To calculate angles A and B is equals to 180 because we have the 90 degrees right angle embedded in the triangle. So to calculate angles A and B is equals to 180 minus 90 because two sides are parallel. So 180 minus 90, the answer is equals to 90. Then we divide 90 by 2 and the answer is equals to 45 degrees. Example 6. Calculate angle A. Calculate angle A. To calculate angle A is equals to 180 minus bracket begins 15 plus 27 bracket close. 15 plus 27, the answer is 42. And therefore we have 180 minus 42 and the answer is equals to 138 degrees. Properties of triangles. Properties of triangles. We begin with the exterior angles. Exterior is the opposite of interior. Interior is inside, exterior is what? Outside. So over here, we are going to learn the properties of the exterior angles. And the exterior angles represent the angles that are outside the shape. Exterior angle of a triangle. My fellow students, take your mathematical set. In Arabic, we said andesa. In Arabic, we said andesa. Take your mathematical set. Your mathematical set contains all the necessary what? Equipment. So take your ruler, take your pencil, take your eraser, take your protractor. Take your protractor also. Draw a triangle of any size. The first point or the first step, draw a triangle of any size. So take your ruler and your pencil and draw a triangle of any size as you have on the screen. 2. Extend one of the sides. So when you extend one of the sides, that will give you the letter C. 3. Measure angle A and B accurately. The word accurately means what? Precisely. Another word for precisely or accurately is also what? Exactly or correctly. So measure angle A and B accurately, that is correctly, using a protractor. And you can see the protractor on the screen. And you have it in your andesa or the mathematical set. Point 4. Add angles A and B together. Then 5. Measure angle C accurately using a protractor. Point 6. What do you notice? The second one, still on exterior angles of a triangle. On this screen, draw a second triangle of any size as you see on the screen. 2. Extend all of the sides. 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 So you can see that A, B, and C are the exterior angles that are outside. 3. Measure angle A, B, and C accurately using a protractor. And 4. Add angles A, B, and C together. What do you notice? Again, still on properties of triangles. My fellow student, take your notebook and your pens and copy and complete the following statements. A triangle with all sides equal is called, you answer. A triangle with two sides equal is called, you write down the answer. A triangle with no sides equal is called, you write down the answer. A triangle with all angles equal is called, write down the answer. A triangle with two base angles equal is called, write down the answer also. A triangle with one angle of 90 degrees is called, write down the answer. An equilateral triangle has got all equal dash and all dash. You fix in the two missing answers. An isosceles triangle has got two equal dash and dash. Also write down the answers. Two triangles that are identical in shape and size are called, write down the answers. So that when we meet next time in our next lesson, you produce your work. On this screen, we could see what? A star. Draw this diagram. In other words, draw this star. Now, this star is not drawn accurately. So take your ruler and your pencil and draw this star accurately. Point 2. Calculate all the angles in this star. Calculate all the angles in this star. 3. How many right angle triangles can we find? And 4. How many pairs of congruent triangles are there? Take your ruler and pencil and draw this shape that you have on the screen. Draw this diagram. Take your ruler and pencil and draw this diagram as you have on the screen. 2. When you finish drawing the diagram, identify 2 pairs of congruent isosceles triangles, meaning observe 2 pairs of congruent isosceles triangles. 3. Identify 4 pairs of congruent right-angled triangles. And 4. Calculate angles X and Y. Calculate angles X and Y. My fellow student, I hope this lesson will be of great beneficial to you all. Thank you very much for listening. Have a nice day. We'll meet once again in our next lesson. Have a wonderful day. And may Almighty Allah bless you all. And thank you for listening.